How are we doing on time? How far into this are we? All right. All right. Here we go. Okay, I have lost my screen. 1 second. Let's go. Hold on, while we were speaking, my demo environment shut down for a second, but here it is back. Okay, so what I want to begin for the demo, I want to show you a very popular yet also very common need. And the example I'm going to use is an employee leave request. And most all companies have this need, large and small. And even though it's a fairly simple operation, it can take a lot of time, and there's a lot of emails back and forth. And so I want to show you how we do it with Nintex. This screen right here is just showing that this is a basic SharePoint intranet, and these are different departments within this company. And we're just going to go ahead and go on to HR and the employee leave requests. All right, so here's a simple SharePoint list. I'm going to begin by just launching a new item, starting a new item, and we're going to make our request for vacation. Let's say fall fun, and we'll pick a start. We can pick a leave type. I'm just going to say annual leave. We'll pick a start date. I am ready to go, so let's just go next week. Let's get started with this vacation, and we'll take the whole week. Because I need some sun on my face. How about that? Okay, so I'm going to save this. By the way, this is just a normal SharePoint form, and Nintex will work with the workflow part of it will work with just a normal SharePoint form, normal SharePoint list. But I'm going to show you later there are some vast enhancements available if you also use Nintex Forms as well as the workflow. And so there is my entry in the list. Now, in a normal situation, we would have the, excuse me, I did not cut that off. Let's cut that off, and let me shut that down so that doesn't happen again. 1 second. All right, coming back. Okay, so here we go. So here's the list, and the I'm just going to. What I was saying is that normally there would be a. It would normally start the workflow when the record is entered. But in this case, for the demonstration purposes, I have not started the workflow because I want to show you something. I'm going to click on here on the ellipse right beside the fall fun entry. Then I'm going to go to workflow. And I'm going to show you this workflow first before I launch it. This is the behind the scenes. I think it's way cool. Basically, Nintex sets up a workflow in a typical, flowchart scenario. This shows the beginning. This shows the steps. Down here shows the fact that somebody is going to have to approve, make a decision. Yes or no, they can reject it. They can approve it. Before we get too far down to the approval chain, this shows how that once the employee starts the process, there is a send notification. There's an email sent back to them, and this is where that email will be sent saying, hey, we have got your request. And then this request can be, the notification can be sent via SMS, or it can be sent via email. And then here we go and grab the leave balance. We can integrate with other programs. In this case, we're integrating with an HR payroll system to see how much time they've got available to take vacation. And then once we go see that, we'll populate that back into the email workflow, so that when this message goes to the boss or the supervisor, then they already know how much time this employee has available and how much time they want to take. That's the information they'll need in order to make that decision. So then we go down. Here's where the manager says yes or no. If they reject it, there's going to be a sad email coming to this user, or a sad text message. Or if they get approved, which we're hoping for, they'll get first of all, we're going to add the entry of what days they're going to take onto a company calendar or a department calendar, so that from that point forward, people will know that this person is going to be out that particular time frame. And then they then it will update the leave balance, because now they have been approved, and now the time needs to be taken off of their available time, and then they'll get a message sent to them saying, hey, you're approved to go. So that's how this works. So we're just going to start this again. Normally this would start as soon as the request was made. So I'm just going to start. All right, you'll see already here it has popped up on the side here an instant message saying your leave request was received. Okay, that's a notice to the person who started this. And then I have another environment. I'm using another environment to show what's going on with this other employee. I don't think I pointed this out earlier, but over here, I'm using the employee name of Eden Stafford. So I am Eden Stafford in this demo, and I'm the one making the request. And over here, so I can show the approval process, this is Brett Campbell's SharePoint site and Brett Campbell's email. And Brett has received an email from the workflow. And this is what it says. It says, click here to respond to the following task. Eden Stafford, me, is requesting annual leave from 11/16 to 11/20 for a total of 40 business hours. HR reports that she has a balance of 80 hours. So this is a great message. Brett does not have to go through records, does not have to go through the calendar, does not have to do much other than just make a decision. In fact, he can make a decision a couple different ways. Notice this little note down here. It says lazy approval enabled. Reply with a valid outcome on a line by itself at the top of the email. What this is saying is that we could, to make it really easy, one of the options that we can enable when we build a workflow is for the recipient of the request for approval, they can respond with a yes, no, maybe, and the workflow will recognize those words and process it accordingly. So in this case, we could just do a reply, and there you go. It would say yes, and it would move the workflow forward. But for this example, I'm going to do the more extensive, more comprehensive way, where I'm just going to click. It's going to open up a form. And by the way, these work very well on mobile devices. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. So here we go. I've got a form now that I've got the information available, and here's the start and end date and here's the comment that I put here. And typically you don't have to put this on a workflow, but I wanted to show you again the the workflow drawn out, and we can actually show this in the response in the form like we're doing now. And the green indicators mean these are the steps that have already happened, and the yellow, excuse me, I went right past it. The yellow is where we're at now. We're asking the manager, and he or she is making a decision. So I'm going to say yes. Let's let Eden go on vacation. I'm going to hit approve, and I'm going to say okay. So now that Eden has approved this, those other steps that I already showed you on the workflow diagram are happening. Looks like Eden is getting a message over here. It's saying, hey, your leave request was approved. And then also what we should be able to see back to Eden's calendar, if I refresh this, we should see her leave request. Yep, there it is on the calendar, just as expected. So very simple workflow. That workflow probably take somebody with experience about an hour to build. If you were new at doing this, it might take you 2 or 3 hours to build this workflow. But these are the type solutions that we have within Nintex workflow and forms. Speaking of forms, I want to show you another aspect of this. As you noticed, I had just a plain old SharePoint form in this example initially. Well, I want to show you how I can create a nicer looking, more functional Nintex form right now. So I'm going to go into this leave request list, and then I'm going to go to the list tab up here at the top. I'm going to go to Nintex Forms right here in the ribbon. And basically, with the click of one button, I've built a basic form already. It has more, and we can put your company logo here, of course, instead of Nintex Forms logo. Can make it look nicer. You can make it. You can change the colors. You can easily add fields, add different controls. It's just like the Nintex workflow canvas, which I haven't showed you yet, but I will. You can add different controls, just drag them on, and so on. I'm not going to drag any on this right now, but that's all you have to do to start that. So another important thing I want to point out, though, is that if you want this up here, it shows that this was made for desktop. But if you want a smartphone version of this, we could just click here and it will create a smartphone layout. Looks like this. Again, once it has created what it thinks you need, you can alter it. And here is here's some other devices here, like an iPhone. We can specifically make an iPhone one. I can also make an Android one. All right. So as we're doing this, we can also make one that is for Nintex mobile applications. So I'm going to click this right here. And it's saying, yes, I've got a Nintex mobile layout. And for the Nintex mobile, we're going to do something kind of tricky here, or interesting. We're going to use Nintex Live. Nintex Live is an Azure-based cloud solution that will enable you to present forms even to anonymous users on the World Wide Web. There's no issues with security of what they can do. It's basically just, in this example I'm going to show you, there's a way to collect data from people that are just simply logging into a browser and filling out a form. So I am now, I've created all these different formats. Now I've got to publish this. So I'm going to go over here to publish. And we're going to go here to finish the publishing. Oh, you know what? I think I missed a step. So let me republish. Got something I missed. Actually, no, went back one more step. All right, here we go. Back to live settings. I did not tell, yeah, there we go. I did not click this button. And once I click this button about publishing to Nintex Live, it asks me, what kind of user base do you want to display, to make this available to? I mentioned the anonymous, which is the example I want to give, but I could make this form available just to certain users. But in this case, I'm going to put anonymous users. I'm going to hit save. And now I'm going to republish. And look here. It shows layouts included. We have now published this to where we have templates for desktop, smartphone, iPhone, Android, and Nintex Mobile. Okay, so now here's what I want you to do. This tiny URL is a URL that, oops, I think I clicked it accidentally. Well, if you click on the URL or you enter that in your browser, this is what's going to happen. It's going to pop up a form for you to fill out. And this, so if you go into your let me pop this up on the screen real quick so you can see while I'm talking. That is not it. Let me go back here. Let me cancel that. Well, I've got myself stuck. I'm going to try to cancel that again. There we go. All right. I accidentally clicked on that instead of copied it, and so now I got stuck a little bit. Let me see if I can go here. Let's go back to HR, back to the leave requests, back to the SharePoint list, back to the list tab, and back into Nintex Forms. All right, so let's do this one more time, and we will go to the live settings. That's still saved for anonymous. So basically, I just need to republish it and grab that tiny URL instead of, there it is. So I'm going to go here. Oops, go here. Right click, copy. All right, now I'm in good shape. Now I'm going to publish it again, just to be safe. There it is again. And now I'm going to close this. And now what I want you to do is type that into your browser. Just the full thing, http:// bit.ly. ly stands for live. Excuse me, I don't know what ly stands for. Let me put this in your chat window for you. That will be also helpful. So I'm just going to pop it in here so all of you can just type it in if need be. Like, there we go. Yep. Got it twice. All right. So now, once you do that, the form is going to pop up on your screen, the one that I showed you a minute ago. You're going to see it on your mobile, and then just be as creative as you want to be. Fill in, what kind of where you want to go, when you want to go, and so on. Now that does actually take a little bit of time since we're doing this 30-minute demo, and I believe I've only got about 7 minutes left. We will need to, we may close this out before we get to see the results. But basically, as each of you are typing that in and filling out a request, it's going to populate this list. There's going to be a record that populates this list. So it's just a cool thing to know that you can have people out there on mobile entering in data that's going to show up in this SharePoint list. So I'm going to show you one more thing, and then we're going to go to wrap up. So the one more thing I want to show you is that these workflows can be very, very comprehensive. For example, here's an example of a press release workflow, and basically it goes through these different stages of the author revision, the manager review, the legal review, and the publishing. And so it's multi-levels, multi-approvals. And you can see down here, with the author revision, that you can withdraw it or resubmit it. With the manager review, it's changes needed or approved, and so on. These are all decisions along the way of the workflow. I see that we are running short on time, so I'm going to leave the demo. We can, by the way, anyone who wants further demo, please just contact me, send me an email, and we will be happy to give you a personal demo that's more fine-tuned to what your needs are. But now, I'm going to go back to my presentation. And just briefly saying that, Nintex is the solution, but we are the company that would bring Nintex to you. We've got 20 years of software solution experience, 8 years of SharePoint, and 5 years of working with workflows and document automation. Our solution partners are, of course, Nintex, who we've been highlighting today, for workflow automation, also Chorus for document automation, and certainly Microsoft. We're Microsoft partners for SharePoint. And one of the offers I promise you today is that for those who stand by the whole demo, if you are interested, if you don't already own Nintex and you're interested in it, you are entitled to 4 hours of consulting to create a proof of concept on a Nintex workflow. I'll be happy to work with you. If you would like to do that, just send me an email after the presentation. Also, we promised an Amazon gift card to, we're going to do a drawing looking at seeing here who's still here with us on these 30 minutes as we wrap things up. I'm actually going to do this after the demo, after we close out. I will we'll do a drawing, and we will send within the hour an email to everybody letting you know who won the drawing. It's a $25 gift card for Amazon. And as far as what's next, again, contact me about the free consulting offer if you're interested. Also, if you want a Nintex trial, we can set you up with a 30-day Nintex trial on your network or on your Office 365 environment. And then please join us for future webinars. We have the next 2 coming up. Next week, we have one on human resource solutions, more comprehensive. It also includes a demonstrating of an employee onboarding process, which is fairly complex. The one after that is going to be a contract management solution. That will be the week after Thanksgiving, and I'll send you a list of all these with the dates and the links to register. And then there'll be a 4th one, which will be a repeat of the popular human resource one that we're doing next week. So thanks a lot. It's been a good to be with you, and appreciate your time. And if you have any questions at all, just send me a note. You have my email address in your inbox. Bye-bye.